All right, glad to be back. I thought you need something. Thank you guys for coming. We had a tough match up there at Houston. The reason why we went to Houston is because we got 5 girls on our team from Houston. We've got a couple more from San Antonio and a couple from the Dallas area. So it was important for us to get back home to them. Houston was a great opportunity for us to see a much bigger block. We got done with the Alabama game. Those are some large, they're tall females. I got online to see if Alabama football had a bye week because I thought they brought the offensive line there. They did not. They were just really tall females. So we hadn't seen a big block like that. But we played well against those guys. Still in this learning process right now to figuring out kind of our kind of a starting and really, really consistent lineup at the moment. But if you guys are able to come out this weekend, you'll see some new freshmen. Kaylin Coons, she's from Harbor High School, right up there in the Springdale area. We're running a 5-1 system with her. She's been starting consistently. Excellent freshman in the setter position. Also, Lacey Bohannon, you guys heard maybe a week ago at Missouri State. She broke the UCA record during the rally scoring with 28 kills in a 4-set match. That's just, if she gets lucky enough to get another one like that, that's a very, very big record here at UCA. So it was really, really impressive. And that was on our very first day of competition. So we've got the talent. We've got to put it all together right now, trying to find that chemistry at the moment. So indoor sport. Might be a little bit of rain this weekend, so feel free to swing on by the Print Center. We got some Conference USA and Sun Belt opponents coming in this weekend, and also with Southern Illinois being here, it's going to be a great weekend. We expect to go 3-0. That's full expectations, and I'm highly confident about that one as well. So leave it up to any questions. Anybody? Love it. Go Bears, go Sugar Bears.
Our men's soccer team is coming off a dominant 3-1 victory over Air Force yesterday afternoon at the Bill Stevens Complex. The only previous matchup between UCA and Air Force was in the 2018 NCAA tournament. Air Force won that one 4-0, so I think we had a little better result yesterday. Our next coach is not a newcomer to UCA, having been here last year, led the Bears to a co-championship in the ASUN last season. However, he is a newcomer to Bear Backers. This will be his first appearance. Please welcome the reigning ASUN Coach of the Year, Coach Frank Kolenstein.
At my age, it's great to be considered new at anything, But for sure, we've had an interesting start to the season. I don't know how many of you have seen the movie Trains, Planes, and Automobiles. Well, our trip to Oregon was planes, trains, automobiles, and buses. We missed a flight here, and then so the next day we had to drive to Dallas, get on 3 different planes, and then from Portland to Seattle we took a train, and then while we were in Seattle, one of the guys raised his hand and said, "Coach, when are we going to get on a boat?" Because we hadn't done that yet. And then while we were at Portland, I found out that our university had changed its name from Central Arkansas to Central Arkansas University. This is what they called us at the hotel. And then I changed my name from Frank to Fred at the Portland game. So the guys, being, so empathetic, they went to Pike's Market when we were in Seattle, because you got to do some things, local things that make it fun. So while they were there, they bought me a coffee mug that said Fred. Just because they're nice guys. But, we survived that trip. The guys were great about it. They didn't have any complaints or anything. And I think that actually helped us in that, whatever challenge it is that you face, you just go with it. And one of our core covenants is control the controllables. And the guys really did that, because we went out and put a really good effort in against a top 25 team in Portland. We played the second or third ranked team, depending on the poll you were looking at in Washington. That helped us to grow some, and every match we're trying to get better. And then, went over to SMU, and actually, you wouldn't think after 40-some years of doing this, you'd have something new happen. We got an apology from the referees over there in that we should have had 2 more goals than what we had, and they should have had 1 less. And I did the math really, really quickly, and that means we should have won it. But, I asked them if they could go back in and change that score for us, because that would really help us. They said no. But the team is really doing well, and the matches we've had is making them play a lot better. But now, about the Sports Center #1, video of the night, I have to give credit to my assistants, because they're the ones that said, hey, we can cross the ball in, we'll get this guy right here, and he can do a bike, and it'll be a goal. And I said, we could try that. Because the guy that kicked it in, he's not even in the group that we work with on the set plays. And definitely when you have a 6'4", 6'5" guy, he's usually the target. But instead, he's the one chipping it in to a guy that is about my size. So that's not the guy you usually chip the ball into. So the assistants, Kyle, who's here, it was brilliant. And Chase was the other one that worked on that. So it was brilliant by the assistants. And then it's special for me today to be here at Bear Backers, because my sister is here. And she's the one that I started out coaching. I started my coaching career coaching my sisters in, softball and sometimes basketball. And my guys think I'm hard on them. I mean, who would think that softball would require you to be involved in running half marathons and things like that? But that's the kind of stuff I would do when I was young and energetic. But now I'm much more mellow, and you can ask any of the guys that I'm sure they'll say I'm much more mellow. I hope you'll come out and see all the Purple Bear teams this weekend. Good luck to all the coaches. Really appreciate the collegiality that we have here at UCA. I almost said at CAU or whatever we are. But they also said that we were the Sugar Bears in Portland too. So we're trying to cope with our identity. But thank you guys for all being supporters, and come out and watch all our teams play, please. Thank you.
Nice debut, Fred.
Thanks, Leroy.
I've been called worse. Believe me.
Did I do that?
Coach Jeremy Bishop's women's soccer team had only 1 game last week, falling 1-0 to a good Tulsa team on the road. As we said, they are back home twice this week, 7 p.m. Friday versus Grambling, and 1 p.m. Sunday versus Oklahoma State, which ought to be a big match. Please welcome our longest tenured UCA coach, Jeremy Bishop.
I figured I was going to go before Frank, so I wanted to leave a little extra time because I know he likes to talk. But now I guess I get the microphone. Off to a 1-3-1 start. Not the results that we were hoping for, but a lot of really good play and a lot of really good things to look forward to going into this last week in a non-conference play before we start conference the next week. A little bit about our group. So we have 28 on the roster, 19 of which are freshmen and sophomores. And so knowing that, obviously, before the season started, we knew there'd be a lot of growth that needed to take place early on, and we're seeing that. We haven't played the same starting lineup twice yet this season, so a lot of figuring out what's going to be the best for us. But I think we're on the right track. We created a lot more opportunities against Tulsa, probably the best team we've played so far, and being able to create some more opportunities in that game than we have in the others, I think is getting us optimistic for the matches ahead. Also along those lines, was looking at our team from last year compared to this year, and our 6 players that created most of our attack last year, 5 of them aren't here, graduation, injury, and so we're having to figure out how to manufacture offense, and like I said, the team's really adjusting to it and getting the experience that they need, and I think in time we'll be able to create some more and finish some more opportunities, which is really what we're lacking. Doing a really good job on the defensive side right now. We've been playing 3 goalkeepers throughout the season, just on a rotation, playing it a half at a time, just trying to figure out what's going to be the best for us going into conference play. But all 3 of them are playing really well, and it's making it really hard on myself and Derek and Marcella to be able to figure out what the best combination there is. But that's a good problem to have. And defensively, I think we've given up about a goal a game, which is you can win when you're doing that. So we got to keep that going, continue to keep the teams down, and then figure out how to put the ball in the net. And optimistic that we can do that. Did want to mention a few of our players. Specifically, we have 2 super seniors this year in their 5th year, Gracie Hare and Taylor Webb. They are both going to graduate in December with their master's degree. So both have been great leaders for our program throughout the time that they've been here, and so we've got great leadership from them. We've got 3 other seniors that are playing between Gibby and Taylor Lassiter and Sydney Bro. Sydney's probably going to come back for a 5th year, but we have those seniors, and then many of you probably have heard about Laurel Landry over the years. She tore ACL in the spring last year, one of our forwards, and so she's not able to play here her senior year. So just another one of the reasons that we've got to figure out the mix on the attacking side, but we're getting there. So we really appreciate you guys' support. It feels like it's been 3 years since I've been standing up here, about right, I guess, COVID and whatnot. So good to be back here with you. Thank you all for coming out, and look forward to seeing you guys at home on Friday and Sunday. And not very often that you get a Power 5 conference school to come to campus, so we're really excited about that on Sunday with Oklahoma State, but obviously we got Friday night with Grambling before that. But hopefully you can get out to one or both of those this weekend and see our team go out and compete. And then after that, we start conference play. So looking forward to that. So any questions I can answer? Thanks, y'all. Go Bears.
As we talked about earlier, our home cross-country meet Saturday out at Beaverfort. Women run at 8:45, men at 9:20. Hopefully we'll see some of you out there. Again, it's a great venue to watch. A quick funny story about our old friend Dr. Prince that we talked about last week. He lived out by the lake just across from where we run the cross-country meet. And I guarantee you would have been there this week if he was still with us. A couple years ago, we were about to get started. I don't know, 8 o'clock in the morning, and I'm out walking on the course with my camera. I'm going to shoot some photos, and I see a golf cart come driving up. And Dr. Prince is driving over from his house in his golf cart. So he pulls up, and we're standing there talking. And I start looking around, and they lay out the cross-country course with T-post and then ribbon flag, like a car lot. And I'm looking, I'm thinking, we're on the course. We're standing here, golf cart and me, on the course itself. Thinking, okay, we got to figure out how did he get on here first, and how do we get off of here? So I'm looking around, and I look down, and 300 yards away at the far end of Beaverfort, the women are lining up to race. So I'm really looking around for a way to get out of this place now. And so I'm thinking, well, I can raise these up. Well, it's not like movie, one of those things they call in movie theaters where you can just pick it up and move it. These are all, it's one solid rope all the way down. And so we're looking around, and I hear runners to your marks. I'm like, we're still on the course. So I'm over here trying to raise it up, and it only goes about this high. Well, the golf cart's here. So this other guy, I don't even know who he is. He's over here helping us. So finally, we just stand on the rope, the flag, and get it all the way down far enough where he can drive over this. I mean, we're from here to Austin back there. Here comes the girls running. And we're like, and we barely got Dr. Prince off the course, but it did work. Way closer than it needed to be, though. We laughed about it several times after that, but yeah. Anyway, we did run at Little Rock's meet last Thursday down at War Memorial Golf Course. Took home 2 individual titles and 1 team title. Philip Hassner and Sarah Steimel both won individual titles, and the men took home the team title. So congratulations to them. We're going to let our new coach, Josie Weaver, have a home meet under his belt before we have him up here to speak to us. So we'll have him here next week, hopefully talking about a couple of victories out at Beaverport. The football Bears dropped a 27-14 decision to 5th-ranked Missouri State last Thursday night on the Stripes. Great crowd, great atmosphere. Thanks to all of you, because I know all of you were out there. I'm sure we had a couple of bugs we need to work out with our first home game with that big of a crowd, but we already had a meeting this morning to talk about some things. Hopefully it'll be smoother. And our next one, which is not till October 1st, we host Austin Peay Open Conference play on August 1st. 3 road games before that, beginning with an SEC matchup at Ole Miss with Lane Kiffin and the Rebels, 6 p.m. Saturday. Game will be on ESPN Plus and SEC Plus, along with the Point 94.1 and the Bear 91.3 with Justin, Chris, and Steve-O. Last time we played the Rebels, we led 20-14 at halftime. That was also Hugh Freeze's first game at Ole Miss back in 2012. We eventually lost 49-27. We went on to finish 9-2 regular season, 9-3 overall that year. Ole Miss finished 7-6. So we turned ourselves around pretty well that year. Now let's hear from our head coach, Nathan Brown.
Thank you, Steve. First of all, recap last Thursday night. Again, I've had a few sleeps since then and have been really locked in on an SEC opponent. So forgive me if I lose some details here. But again, I thought our guys competed. I thought we played hard. I think when you look at the landscape across college football and probably many sports and athletics right now, there's a lot of new faces at new places. And so we were in that situation in some spots on our team, and I think you're going to see us continue to progress and get better as we move through this season. It's not from a lack of talent. It's not from a lack of working and skill. But again, football is a team sport, and it's something that takes a while to get going. Unfortunately, in football, you're not allowed a preseason game, and so work some kinks out with some personnel things, some different areas that could get better. Obviously, Missouri State coming in as the number 5 ranked team would expose you fast if you didn't do your job. And I thought, especially in the first half on offense, we left a lot of what we would call meat on the bone, and we pushed the ball down the field. At times, we looked like a well-oiled machine, and then we just sputtered out and settled for field goal attempts and missed some opportunities down the field. We overthrew a couple wide receivers on the night that could have been big plays early in the game, and really turned us into a one-dimensional offense in the second half because we were down 2 scores, which hurts your offensive line, hurts your quarterback. Just gives you less dimension on offense. I think some positive moments of the other night was one. I thought our defense played winning football. I mean, bottom line is when you break it down, you take away the kickoff return. I mean, that's 7 points. Really, you take away the turnover late in the first half. I mean, we put them in a bad spot. I mean, defense is really putting together a game where they gave up 10 or 13 points on their own accord. We put an emphasis on the pass rush on our defensive line and the recruiting, and you could tell that really quickly how important that was and how much improved that is as we move forward into this season. I thought we controlled the line of scrimmage. I mean, anytime you hold a team under 100 yards rushing, especially a team out of the Missouri Valley Conference who runs the football, you're doing yourself a favor. And so bottom line is if you take the scramble yards that Shelley makes, which he's an All-American quarterback, and that's what he hangs his hat on, we gave up 36 yards rushing. And that's going to win you a lot of football games. I don't care where you play or who you play against. That's a big deal. So that's something big to hang our hat on. I had a question with some of our defensive backs, our corners in particular. I thought they held up. Again, number 19, I can't remember his name off the top of my head. He's an All-American receiver as well for them. He had over 100 yards, but we held him in check, and part of the reason of that is because we kept Shelley off balance, the quarterback. He wasn't able to really get comfortable throughout the whole game. As the game went on, I thought the offense, made some plays. I mean, if you look at the total yards of the game, I mean, it's very even. Us and Missouri State were very even throughout the game. Obviously, us having a big edge in the running game. Darius Hale had right at 100 yards. I think he had 99 yards He picked up where he left off. Kylan James had a big night. He only had 8 carries, but he was close to 90 yards on 8 carries. And, that's a testament to our offensive line. That's a testament to those 2 young men. And that's going to continue to be a strength of ours. I think as far as the quarterback goes, Will McIlvain, he'd be the first to tell you, and I think he said it in the presser right after the game. He missed some checks. He missed some protections. He would admittedly say he was a little nervous. It's been a year and a half since he's played a football game. But I think you can see glimpses of what he can be. I mean, he's going to be a very, very, very good quarterback here, and it's going to happen very, very fast. We've got to put him in some situations. We got to continue to see what he's comfortable with and what he wants to do moving forward, because he's got a say in what we do. I mean, bottom line is how you have success on offense is having a rapport with your quarterback, because he's the one seeing the play. He's got the pin last when it all matters. So Will's going to be greatly improved. Special teams was a question mark. That's something we've got to improve on. That's something we practiced hard on Sunday night, getting the right personnel on kickoff team. I didn't think we competed very well in that area. I think this sounds crazy as a coach, but I think we were playing too much assignment football, if you know what I mean. Like we were running our lanes, but we weren't playing football, if you know what I mean. Like I might have the goalpost, I might have the hash, I might have the top of the numbers, and I felt like we didn't play football once the ball was kicked, right? Like you got to go make the play, and so we're going to find guys that can go make the play. We will continue to work that. I don't anticipate that being a problem moving forward. Obviously, frustrated with missing 2 chip shot field goals. A lot of people have asked, what's going on with Hayden Ray? Look, he'll be fine. I promise. Look, and so I've got full confidence in the young man. He's going on year 6, I guess, here as our place kicker, getting this COVID year. But he's nobody's as frustrated as he is. I promise you that. I took a little different approach, and he'd be the first to tell you. Like I've been I'm always encouraging to the specialists. Like that's kind of my thing. Like that's your job as a head coach. I'm not going to go get after him like I would an offensive lineman or a defensive lineman. Well, Sunday night I got after him, and I flipped the switch on him a little bit. And Hayden Ray texted me that night, and he said, "I appreciate that, Coach. I needed that." And so we'll see if it bodes well. I would be willing to bet that young man will make big kicks this year. He'll win a game for us or 2 because of his ability, because he's got a ton of ability. He's just got a little bug right now, and it's a confidence thing, and we'll get that fixed and corrected. And that's our job to do in practice as we move forward. And the bottom line is number 5 ranked team came in here to Conway and beat us, and that's frustrating. And I think all of us on Friday morning, more so me Thursday night at midnight, rehashed the game and looked at some things that could have went different or should have done, or make an adjustment here or there. But bottom line is I don't think many people walked off that field saying Missouri State's a lot better football team than the UCA Bears. We matched up with them well. They had 17 returning starters, and they looked like that at times. We were training a new quarterback, a bunch of new faces on the defensive line, some new corners. They looked like the number 5 ranked team. I mean, that's why they're the number 5 ranked team, because they had 17 guys coming back, and they mixed in a few transfers themselves. So they're a good football team. I expect them to win a lot of football games. I expect us to win a lot of football games. I wouldn't mind seeing them again at some point, hopefully down the line. But we had to shift our focus quick. Obviously, you can sit there and wallow in your sorrows and be frustrated with the situation, but guess what? Ole Miss is looking at you dead in the mirror. And so we had to shift our focus to them very quickly. Fortunately, we had a couple days extra than we normally would to rest and recover, because it was a physical game on Thursday night. That's a Missouri Valley football team. That's the way they play. They play a physical brand of football, and I feel like we matched them blow for blow, and that's encouraging moving forward, because that's been if you look at the history of Central Arkansas football in the Division I era, Missouri Valley football teams have been a thorn in our side, and a lot of times it comes down to the physical play, and I thought we matched them blow for blow physicality, especially in the run game. So that's encouraging. But Ole Miss looks at us, and look, I don't know. I think in 2015 we played Oklahoma State, and they were a Sugar Bowl team that year. At the time of playing them, they weren't a top 25 team. I believe this is the first top 25 team UCA's played in our history. I kind of looked that up, Steve. I don't know if that's a true fact, but I'm pretty sure it is. They returned from a Sugar Bowl team last year. Obviously, I think Coach Kiffin's a little frustrated with their week 1 of performance. If you look at his presser, and some of the things he's saying. He's a little bit uneasy about his offensive situation. Again, he just graduated a guy that got drafted in the 3rd round by the Panthers at quarterback, so they're trying to figure out that situation. He's going to start a new guy this week. They started the USC transfer last week. He didn't meet his standards. We'll probably see him play, but they're going to go with the Altmaier kid as their starter. And so that'll be a little bit of adjustment for us. He played a little bit last year for them, and he played in the Sugar Bowl for them against Baylor when Corral got hurt. So we've seen a little bit of film on him. Defensively, they look better than they did last year. I mean, they brought in some impact transfers. 24/7 rated them the number 2 ranked transfer portal. Yeah, that's a thing now. You rate transfer portals now. Number 2 ranked transfer portal class of 2022. And so when I say transfer portal guys, like not just getting guys that couldn't play at TCU or couldn't play at Georgia or couldn't play at Iowa State or wherever. No, these dudes were like, they got the Big 12 Freshman of the Year at linebacker from TCU. He's their starting linebacker. They've got the MAC Player of the Year at linebacker from Central Michigan. They've got an all-conference safety from Georgia who's starting for them now. They've got an all-conference ACC defensive end transfer from Georgia Tech. 15 players in their 2 deep are transfer portal guys. So they're a new team. Again, that team last year was a 10-win team that they had. They're new. So I think we're catching them at a good time, relatively speaking. Because they're in the same boat, I think, offensively as we were week 1, kind of trying to figure out what you're going to be, how's your quarterback going to react and respond, who's your new receivers, all those things. And so things are an adjustment for Coach Kiffin right now as well. Obviously, there wouldn't be a top 25 team if they didn't have the talent and skill that they have. This will be probably in my time of being here, the most skilled team we've ever played at UCA. Just top to bottom. I mean, they're going to have speed. They're going to look the part. Their offensive line is massive. And again, we're going to have to play sound football. What makes this difficult is scheme-wise what they do on both sides. Offensively, they were the fastest team in the country last year at snapping the ball. So they averaged snapping the ball at like 26 seconds on the play clock. I mean, so do the math. I mean, that's stopping a play. That's starting the next play within actual time of 13, 14 seconds. I mean, that's flying. I mean, that's really playing fast. So we're going to have to be simple on defense to get lined up, because where they'll get you is when you try to do a whole bunch of stuff. If you sit there and play the game of we're going to make a long call and do this and do that, then they're going to expose you. So we've got to be simple on defense and get our guys in a position to have success. And then on their defense for our offense, they run a three-man front. They run a nose and two ends. They play a bunch of guys on the back end, eight skilled guys in the back end, and they just basically jam it inside and make you bounce it to their real good athletes, and that's what they do. And so you don't see that every week. Iowa State has made a living doing that in the Big 12, and they're one of the best defenses in the country every year. So it'll be a little bit different schematically. Offensively, we'll do some different things in the run game to help that. We'll have to get the ball out fast to our playmakers. They do a good job of keeping stuff in front of you. You would think an SEC team would be nothing but man coverage. They've got the guys to do it. Well, this is a high zone team on defense. They like to play 3 deep safeties or 3 deep DBs and keep things in front of them, and they do a good job of rallying up and making tackles. So obviously the atmosphere is exciting. I think the thing that makes me maybe more excited than anything is we get a chance to take, I think I wrote it down just because I wanted to make sure, 16 Mississippi kids get to go back and play in front of people from home. So, like, these are young men that obviously probably grew up loving Ole Miss or Mississippi State or one of them, obviously respecting them, even if they're a Mississippi State fan. But K.C. Clark, Christian Kane, Jalen Beadell, Noah Mitchell, T.D. Williams, Corley Hooper, Dylan Williams, Javian Jones, Jace McCoy, Jack Green, Jacob Cox, Fraser Rose, Justin Larry, Jared Long, Stephon McGlone, Carson Moran. Those are all guys that grew up in the state of Mississippi. And so you get a chance to go play in front of 60,000 people and get their family to go see them in person and put a good product on the field. So that's an exciting moment for me as a coach. I was born in Mississippi. I was born in Hattiesburg, so I'll have a bunch of family there as well. On one side of my family, Coach Boykin's from Mississippi, Coach Bowler's from Mississippi. We've got a lot of Mississippi ties, and that's a big recruiting footprint for us. So to have an opportunity to sell this game to recruits and an opportunity to play back home is a big deal to us. And our goal in this is to come out of it feeling good about ourselves. Look, I don't know. Look, the ball tips up, right? Like you get a tip ball, you pick six, or they muff a punt, or we take our shot at them. I mean, crazier things have happened. Look, I mean, we've won FBS games here. We've never beat a Power 5 team here as a football program, but we've been in a lot of games against them, right? Some good teams. And so this is going to be no different. I mean, bottom line is that team we played Thursday night and the team we're about to play this Saturday night are probably the two most skilled teams we'll play all year. I mean, bottom line, like top to bottom depth, where they're at in their program's maturation process. So we're getting shot right now, right? We're getting the blows right now. It's how are we going to pick ourselves up, respond, and move forward. And I know I don't think how this team is going to react, and it's going to be in a positive way. You can see glimpses. I see it in practice every day. You saw it at times on Thursday night. Now let's go prove it in front of a premier program against the top conference in the country. And that's going to be an exciting moment for our guys. It's a quick trip. I don't know what the weather is. They've said there's a chance of rain. I think it'll be the first time we've played on a grass field since the University of Colorado. So that's a little bit different, when you're preparing, and that's a pretty crazy stat there. But I'm pretty sure that looking back on that, that's pretty unreal. But what a great opportunity for us, and we're excited about it. Again, a lot of things to clean up. But I said it last week, the Missouri State game. It would have helped obviously getting a win, and we had our shot to get a win there. But it wasn't going to define us and who we are. This is a team that has a ton of skill and it has a lot of upside. There's a ton of upside in this group, maybe as much upside as I've had, and so I'm excited about how we grow. I thought we had the best Sunday practice we've had in probably 2 weeks, and that's a testament to our guys and responding and reacting in a positive way. So with that being said, anybody got something for me? Love to answer anything.
Real quick about David Walker. He lived up to his billing.
Yeah, and we've talked about David Walker a lot, and he was a premier pass rusher and defensive lineman at Southern Arkansas last year, and it entered the transfer portal, and we recruited him obviously out of high school, and it just didn't work out as far as just some different situations, but as far as Division I qualifications in some different areas, but we thought he was going to be good, and I think he proved that, and that's what's fun to watch. Is he loves football, he loves the Bears, but he's just relentless. I mean, and there's not going to be many quarterbacks that like Shelley that made him miss twice on a play. I mean, he's just that good, and Shelley made him miss twice on a scramble that he got 25 yards on a 2nd and 18. Had him in a bad spot, and he scrambled around, probably ran 80 yards in one play, and made David Walker miss twice. I think he made Jessup miss once on that. I mean, made 2 or 3 different guys miss. But David Walker's going to be good, especially on the opposite side of Logan Jessup. And I think the encouraging thing you see is even when you pulled Logan Jessup and David Walker out to catch a breather, Jake Golday, number 34, had a TFL or 2 as well. Jace McCoy had a sack down here that got called for the face mask, but he was in the backfield. There's just a ton of depth, and we feel really good about our end play. I think the inside guys held up. I mean, you don't hold a team to 30 yards rushing by the running back room without the inside holding up. And I thought Caden Brown, Jalen Beadell, some of those guys really played at a high level as well. So, big things are going to come. Now what David's going to have to be ready for is people keying in on him, right? They're going to know who he is now. So that hopefully will help other guys get singled up as well. All right, you guys good? Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Did I hit a wheel when
Yeah.
the helmet came off? Was that not targeting?
Well, so we've got clarification on that. So as brutal as it looked, it wasn't. Okay, so and here's the definition. And the young man led with his shoulder. Now Will's is not a tall guy, so he's going to take some hits. The plane of some a bigger kid could hit you high. His shoulder, basically clipped him about right here. He turned his head. I think the big key on that was the young man's feet were still in the ground when he made contact. So he wasn't launching. He didn't lead with the crown of his helmet. And so we've got clarification from the ASUN conference, and I'm good with that. I mean, in the moment, heck yeah. I mean, I'm fighting for it. I'm sitting there thinking my kid's decapitated, right? I mean, but that showed you how tough the kid was. He came to the sideline. I mean, I get why Dave and our athletic training staff was running out there, but I scream at him. He's like, "Get off!" Because he's tough kid. I mean, and so that was great to see.
He was mad that he missed. What about
Well, if you look across college football, it's pretty prevalent right now. I mean, it's crazy, and so that's not necessarily a Coach Brown or a UCA problem. It seems like it's a Riddell and a Schutt and whatever the brand of helmets are. And so the way helmets are made now is they don't have, like used to helmets, you would have a separate chin strap, right? And you would connect the chin strap up here and you tighten it as tight as you can go. Well, now helmets are made with the chin strap already built into the helmet. And so it's a little bit tougher to get them tight, if you know what I mean. And so if you have any type of, a lot of guys have thicker hair or dreadlocks or whatever it is, a lot of times those things can sit higher and it gives you a rougher angle on the chin strap. So we're having to constantly coach our guys up. Man, you got to cinch that thing tight, keep a ton of air in your helmet so it's tighter on the top of your head. But man, that was a problem everywhere. And so I think that was even mentioned in a college game day deal, was how many helmets were coming off in week 1. So I don't know. That's something that the inventors of the new helmet products can worry about. But it can hurt you, right? So we've got to do a good job of figuring out how to keep our helmets tight and cinched and keep them on the game. So good question. Thank you, guys.
Hello. Good afternoon. Hope you had a good Labor Day weekend. And we're excited about all the events on our campus and at Beaver Fork Lake this weekend. And thank you, coaches, for being here to talk about your events coming up. That's great. The Thursday night game, what a great crowd. What a great atmosphere. Thank you for all of that. And certainly we have a few things that we need to adjust and improve, and we will do that. And we've heard some feedback, and we'll get those adjusted, no doubt about it. Allison is here from the alumni office. Just saw you and thought about the tailgate at Ole Miss. So the alumni office is doing a big tailgate right adjacent to the Grove on Saturday. So if you don't have your tickets yet, I guess they can go online and get that done. Is that correct? That's great. UCA Alumni Association. What else, Steve? Anything? Matt, Daryl? We good? Everybody good? Any questions? Dr. Bradley? We currently have Oklahoma State, then Arkansas State in 2024, then Missouri in 2025, and after that, nothing. Nobody wants to do anything until they know what the new rules will be when the NCAA decides the rules, which hopefully will be soon, Dr. Davis. Dr. Davis is on the President's Council for the NCAA, but we should know there's a transformation committee that's coming up with the rules to be a Division I program and what those subdivisions may look like. We may have more than 2 subdivisions in football now. So we'll see. We don't know yet. So nobody wants to schedule right now. So they're kind of hands off. I did ask Ole Miss for 2027 because they already had a 2026 FCS, and they said they'll look at it. So maybe we can get back there sooner than later. Yes, ma'am.
You're going to be able to do something about the volume of the speakers that are blasting out that music? Even when our band is trying to play the 5 songs, they're blasting out their music?
Yes, we are. We will make some adjustments. We had the pole speakers were out, and so we had to turn up the speakers in the stands a little bit louder than normal, but we'll be good to go October 1st. Yeah. Mary? Come on. Get us, tell us, ask us. Thanks for being here. Paul's a lot nicer when you're here, by the way. Kinder, gentler. What do we say, Paul? Yeah. I don't have to put up with it. Okay. Well, short week. Y'all have a great week. Please do frequent our events. We appreciate y'all very much, and spread the word. Go Bears. Go Sugar Bears. Bear claws up. Thank you.